Okay, so this is a lesson on writing structure and masterpiece sentences for my 9th and 10th grade resource classroom. Going through it, here's our agenda for the day. We're going to have a little bit of an introduction, just introducing what we're going to go through throughout the lesson, the standard being addressed. We're going to take a look at a picture and then talk about the 1 through 6 stages of turning a simple sentence into a masterpiece sentence. We're going to have a little bit of independent practice, allow students to collaborate with each other, revise their own work, and then what they're going to do for take-home experience and homework. So the actual standard being addressed would be the Common Core ELA literacy for 9th and 10th grade writing strategies. Produce a clear and coherent writing in which the development, organization, and style are appropriate to task, purpose, and audience. So take a look at this picture. I would ask my students, take a look. What do you see? Write one simple sentence, narrate it to me. I'd ask them for a show of hands. Who can tell me what's happening in this picture? So, an example a student would give me would be the birds flew. So, stage 1, prepare your canvas, a base subject and a base predicate. I would go over what is a subject, what is a predicate, what is actually going on in this picture as far as stage 1 of our masterpiece sentence process. Then I would ask them to paint the predicate. How, when, where, how much, how many, how often. How can we take that number 1 sentence, the birds flew, and then turn it into something differently? The birds flew with wings outstretched, explaining how, at sunset, when, over the waves, where. Number 3, moving the predicate painters. So the predicate painters being exactly what we were talking about, the how, what, when, why, things like that. So here are 4 examples of how I would move around various adverbs, adjectives, moving around the predicate, using different adjectives to describe the setting of what's going on in my picture. Again, paint your subject. Which, what kind, how many. The example I used, at sunset with wings outstretched, 1,000 giant white birds that emerged from the clouds flew over the waves. Then I would ask them to be more specific. Detail your work. Birds, change that subject into a seagull. Flew into soared, waves, thundering tide, over, above. Again, I would explain to them throughout all of your writing, whether or not it's in history, science, English language arts, no matter what you're going to write about, you're going to want to be more specific with your writing. Nobody wants to hear or read a piece about a lab and you keep using the word lab over and over and over again. You want to be more specific with what you are actually doing, what's going on in the lesson, what you're actually detailing within your work. Again, also, I would have them look at their finishing touches, refining your words, moving sentence parts, check your spelling, grammar, and punctuation. Sometimes this can be done with a spell check or having a peer edit, things like that. So finally, the masterpiece sentence that I came up with as an example: at sunset, 1,000 giant white seagulls burst through the clouds with wings outstretched and soared above the thundering waves. So then I would ask them to try a picture and try and explain it on their own. So I'd have them look at this picture and then write me a sentence explaining what is going on, and then have them go through the 6-step process following a graphic organizer as far as how to do that. I would then have them, going back to our agenda, have them go back and collaborate with each other, trade papers with the person next to you, check for grammar, punctuation, and content, and then justify their suggestions. So if they were going to make an addition, subtraction to somebody's piece of work, justify why they are doing that. I would add this because this, or I would take this out of your sentence because of this. Whatever the justification may be, I just want them to know that they're not just criticizing the person's work, but rather making a suggestion. And then for homework, I would want them to go online and practice, find a picture, something that may be of interest to them, allow them to connect to the material themselves, and then write a masterpiece sentence using the structure that I just showed them. Start at step 1 and then go through steps 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 until finally you come up with a masterpiece sentence describing the picture that you have chosen, and then being prepared to come to class to discuss it. All right? That's it for my lesson. If there's any questions, feel free to email me. Thank you.